Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in San Diego for the Media First Drive event that many of you have been anxiously waiting for. It's for this vehicle right here. This is it. This is your totally redesigned, all new 2023 Toyota Prius Prime. But before we get into this sporty styled plug-in electric hybrid, let's talk about what's going on here. The Prius. It's the OG of the hypermilers. So many years really extending that range. Of course, Toyota, not resting on their laurels, came out with the Prius Prime, being that plug-in electric hybrid setup to even maximize your range of the Prius. Now, what's interesting for 2023, just like we brought to you the standard Prius hybrid, this Prime really brings that style, but now we have even more horsepower. It's interesting because in this day and age, a lot of brands are moving towards pure electrification, a BEV, battery electric vehicle, whereas others are still holding tight onto their hybrids and plug-in hybrids. So what I want to find out is, since this is all new and totally redesigned, I want to compare it to another sedan that is a hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid, but a hybrid, similar in a lot of the functions and amenities, and then when it comes down to price. So what I want to find out is the Prius Prime the way to go for your sedan, or should you buy a Honda Accord hybrid? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Prius Prime and find out. Right off the bat, this color, absolutely stunning in the California sun. It's called Guardian Gray, and it's got a nice metallic gold tinge to it. At the front of the business, just like the Prius that we brought to you a few months ago, you're gonna get that sporty, but also aerodynamic style. Full LED lighting, especially the way they run those daytime running lamps and turn signals. On the lower portion, you're getting this metallic black coating. You could see that bluish metallic flake, a little bit of gunmetal gray, and even more LED lighting on the lower portion. Now, as we come across the nose, it's interesting how this vehicle went from looking like a scientific experiment to looking as you see it here. Very sleek, very sporty. You do have functionality up top in this upper grille area. Love the way they extend that front fascia out. They even took the Toyota badge and sunk it a little bit into the front fascia to give us that low coefficient drag number. You have three different ways you could buy your Prius Prime. SE, which is going to be your entry level, XSE, or this particular one, which is the XSE Premium. So that's going to be your top trim. We have the top trim. The way you know that is you get this flat metallic silver all the way around the perimeter of the lower portion of the grille, which is fully functional. And just like on your standard Prius, the big zonk at the end of the day starts right here. This freaking plate to mount the license plate, this area here, it's actually molded. I'm gonna have Steven kind of show you. It's molded into the front fascia, so there's no way to get rid of this. Now, out here in California, you need something like this, but in many other states where you don't need to run a front license plate, you're gonna be left with that. And to me, that just kills the look right from the get-go. So let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. When we rise up onto that hood, low slung, super aero, you know, we're talking about comparing this to the Honda Accord. Many people are saying the Honda Accord looks like an old Ford Taurus or something like that, a Crown Vic. This definitely is surprising everybody, I think, in a very good way with its very sleek shape. As we come around the bend, being the XSE Premium, these are the wheels that you're getting. Not 17-inch, not 18-inch, 19-inch wheels. Really digging the style. Machined aluminum with the gloss black. I'm glad they didn't put like weird plastic inserts to help generate airflow down the side of the vehicle. You do have 12-inch rotors up front, different levels of regen braking for that lithium-ion battery pack. And like I said, this is a plug-in electric hybrid, so she will run on pure EV if you choose to do so. That's something that the Honda Accord can't do. You'll notice that painted coating of the metallic black. It's not just simply a gloss black, and it's not the actual plastic. This is a painting process that they do to make it sparkle. Let me know how you feel about it. I'm really curious what it would look like if it was all Guardian gray, which the Guardian gray to me, that would be the color to choose, but really nicely done around the fender opening. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of these wheels and tires? They are very narrow. 195 on the width, 50 series sidewall. If you're wondering, well, Joe, why are they so narrow? Why didn't they give it a little wider tire? Less rolling resistance. Less rolling resistance means we're gonna extend our range. These are ways to get around maximizing range without it looking like some freaky backwards experiment that was worked on in a scientific lab at Area 51. Now, as we come down the side, you can see our little vortex generator. This actually serves a purpose, cleaning up the airflow. I like the way they have a super large corner window right here. That allows the visibility to really expand nicely. You have that metallic black on the mirror caps, looking really clean. Everything else is flat black, really sleek. Up top, check this out. We actually have on the XSE Premium solar panels. So I guess the zonk is you don't get a sunroof, but you get these cool solar panels that actually help extend your range. So if you want to have all the amenities, but you also want to have that extended range, that's going to help bring extra charge to the lithium-ion battery pack in the belly of this vehicle. Now, one of my favorite parts is how they style the lower portion of the vehicle to help channel that airflow, and it helps give it that sporty look. Park this next to a Honda Accord, and it really makes it look kind of fuddy-duddy compared to this sporty Prius. And I've never said that before in my life, taking the word sporty and Prius and put them in one sentence. You got color matched on the door handles, just a little bit of gloss black in the center. Everything else is flat black. You'll notice how they hide the door handle. You just hit that button and it hides the door panel nicely. As we drop down, you can see that aeroflow over the back of the vehicle. And like I said, the 19-inch wheels, all four corners, 195 on the width. Very narrow, but like I said, it's gonna help with that rolling resistance. Now, as we come around the back, really spectacular on what they did. You're just gonna have the airflow over the roof with the solar panels, over the rear glass, and then you'll notice here we have our XSE badge, and I like the way they did this design across the top portion. This is gonna be basically a lift back. So this all raises up. You have your Prime badge. It's like a dark metallic gray with the Prius badge. Really nice how they brought a sportiness to it. And then if you ever see this thing here, it's not a nickel, it's not like some type of mood ring, it's actually the Beyond Zero badge. So this being one of those vehicles that's where Toyota is working towards, is trying to lower those emissions, and this vehicle definitely does it. Now on the lower portion, you'll see how they did that nice little waterfall action, all LED lighting. Of course, we have that metallic black area on the bottom. In the center, they did the Toyota badge, super slick. Really just, I'm telling you, from front to back, this thing is a shocker. Let me know how you feel so far about it, especially compared to the Honda Accord Hybrid. Let's pop the hood though and see what's powering our Prime. All right guys, time to get under the hood. Now you do have a prop rod. Guess what? The Honda Accord also has a prop rod. Underneath the hood, I like the way there's no engine covers or anything like that. What is kind of nice is the little Easter egg that hits you smack dab in the center. Hybrid reborn, and definitely this Prius has gone through a little bit of a renaissance with this sporty style. But let's talk about power, shall we? What you're looking at is a 2-liter inline-4 that's paired to 2 electric motors on 87 octane. I want to specify that. It's not 93 octane, 87 octane. You're looking at 220 horsepower, 139 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an eCVT, and it does have that lithium-ion battery pack. And remember, this is the new 5th gen setup of this hybrid vehicle. Lithium-ion battery, it's a 13.6 kilowatt battery pack, 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. Let's think about that for a second. That's faster than a GR86. So a GR86 is slower than this Prius Prime. Weight in XSE Premium is 3,571 pounds. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what about MPGs? You're looking at 50 in the city, 47 on the highway, and you have a range of 550 miles. If you're wondering, well, what about pure EV? I just want to use pure EV. 39 miles on the XSE trim. Charging time, if you're using a 240 volt, 4 hours. If you're using a 120, it's 11 hours. And then, of course, if you want to get the most out of your mileage, you go with an SE. The SE gives you 53 mpgs in the city, 51 on the highway. So very interesting how they have put together this Toyota Prius Prime with the 3 different trims. We're gonna go ahead. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's turn this thing on and see it in motion. All right, guys, before I let you inside, Steven was hell-bent on showing you where the plug-in outlet is on the passenger side. So that's where you would plug in and charge to give you that range on pure electric power. And then, of course, on the driver's side is your usual place where you're going to fuel it up. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm glad that you're doing this review. I saw your Honda Accord hybrid review. I'm very tempted with that vehicle, but you're right. It doesn't look a little bland and fuddy-duddy-ish. I'm digging this Prius Prime. Never thought I would want a Prius Prime, but how much is this one? Very good question. So MSRP, you have the solar panel roof. That's an option. That's $610 all by itself. But MSRP for this premium level of the XSE trim, you're looking at $40,800. Very close in price to the Honda Accord hybrid. But let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the clean style. Soft touch, it's all flat black, so that means, guess what? No fingerprints, no smudge marks. You do have a little bit of silver on the door handle, but as you can see, everything else is a nice uniform color. Soft armrest. The one zonk is the door pocket's a little on the tight side, so maybe 5 California Pop-Tarts. And if you're wondering what the heck is a California Pop-Tart, it's filled with avocado cream and a bottle of kombucha to wash it down. Now, when you go from the door panel to the dash, nice contemporary modern look, soft touch material. We got the optional JBL sound system that is really nice. And then one of my favorite parts is this Dr. Pepper dark cherry cola trim with the red ambient lighting. Looks really, really fantastic in here. And like I said, dare I say, sporty. As you slide in, you have that massive 12.3-inch infotainment system that has the new Toyota multimedia setup that we have shown to you on so many different Toyota products. Very intuitive, very easy to use. You could look at your energy flow since this is an actual Prius Prime, so it actually shows you where the lithium-ion battery pack. Look at that, it's got the solar panel, it's got where you plug it in, and the engine up front. Really cool, especially wait until we start driving. You'll see how that's going to function. We come back here, you could go just into that solar, see how the solar power is helping you charge. And then, of course, you got that easy-to-use map system with your navigation. Now, I am going to throw it into reverse. There's your backup camera. Very clear on the resolution, and you do have trajectory, but I wish that this fill up more of the 12.3 inches. I had an old friend in college tell me that if you have 12.3 inches, you need to use all 12.3 inches of that screen. And unfortunately, this vehicle is not. But still very clear on the resolution. Working your way down, you got your power on button. I like the way they have a little bit of silver trim just to sparkle things up. We have 3 stages, whoops, hit the wrong button. 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, and we have our standard AC control. So no dual climate. Something to think about, but you do have heated and ventilated seats. Down below, 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt. Maybe you want to run a radar detector. First time ever said ever in a Prius. You do have a nice little cubby area for about 6 to 8 Twinkies. And then guess what? It's removable. So if you're super hungry, you could actually put about a baker's dozen of Twinkies down there and maybe some ding-dongs or some Hostess cupcakes. But real easy and nice to have that usable space. 2 cup holders. Here's your Prius Prime key fob. Ooh, look at how they did the script. Very, very fancy. I just wish it had a little extra something that it's missing. It feels a little too much on the plastic side of things. Just something that I noticed. Now, I like the way that the center console is very, very skinny. Instead of being this big, wide, broad thing, you do have wireless charging that you just drop your phone in there. This guy's going to control your eCVT transmission. You got your drive mode selector switch, which I'll show you that on the business side of things. Your pure EV. Remember, almost 40 miles in this XSE Premium. Soft material on the armrest. Lift it up. You got 2 more USB-Cs, some felt lining, and this is where you could put your little figurine of Smokey the Bear that you won when you were in camp back in 8th grade. You know, out here in California, Smokey the Bear is very prominent because of all the forest fires. So you could keep that little figurine in there and just remember the good times when you used to go to camp and have a great time. And now you're just busy working 80 hours a week and the kids are making you pull your hair out. Seats. Love the material, love the red stitching, and I'm gonna say it again, sporty. Look at that, the red, the cherry red. It's actually got some bolstering in a Prius Prime, of course. Zonk on the manual seat controls. XSE Premium, and we have manual seat controls for the passenger. As you can see, I'm very frustrated. And if you're wondering, is there a sunroof? No. This has solar panels, so you can't have a glass sunroof with solar panels. And I wish they would have made this darker material than the lighter. Let me know how you feel about this like light gray. Everything else is black. This is kind of not matching. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the steering wheel and unique digital dash in our Prius Prime. All right, guys, we're inside the business side. We do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat, and unlike the passenger seat, we do have power seats, which are really nice, especially that lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, it's interesting because out of all the things on this new Prius Prime, the one thing that sticks to the traditional quirkiness of the Prius lineup is the steering wheel. Not my favorite. It's plucked right out of the BZ4X, but it does have nice leather. Check out the red stitching all the way around. Flat black on all the switch gear. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, it looks like the steering wheel is sitting in your lap. There's a reason for that. It's because of that large digital display. You're supposed to use that like you would a head-up display. It's got clear graphics. It's larger than the one in the BZ4X, and I like the way you could scroll through a cornucopia of information. And don't forget, we got our different modes: sport, normal, and eco. So if you really want to go eco-friendly, you know what to select. You know where we're going. We're going into sport. And then you also, like I said, can move these different things around with the display to showcase what's going on, and then you can make it all disappear and just have your power gauge, your speedometer, all that right in the center. But I know you're saying, well, Joe, I'm liking what's up front. What about the back seat? Well, guess what? That's where we're going. Let's get into the back seat of the new Prius Prime. All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you, it's kind of crazy how Toyota chops some of the height off the roof line, yet it still feels very spacious in here. Now, not as spacious as the Honda Accord, but pretty darn good. Now, I do have to start off with a zonk. No pocket on the back of the driver's seat, so that's definitely a zonk to me. In the center console area, though, you do have 2 USB-Cs and another power source, which is a nice touch. But the other zonk, no rear AC vents. This is an XSE Premium. When I hear premium, I think AC vents, and there are none. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. There is a supersized pocket over here, and what I was thinking this would be perfect for are 3 classic books. This is about technology in this Prius Prime. Do the opposite. Tell your kids to put down the damn phones and read a book. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Beowulf, or The Hobbit. Put those in there, and trust me, they will be better for it, even though they may complain and cry and moan. What they won't complain about is that they get a center armrest to rest their arm while they're reading The Hobbit. 2 cup holders, and I like the way the seat material is exactly the same as the way it is up front, especially with the red stitching. I mean, look at that red stitching. It pops off nicely on the rear seats. But why don't we get in that cargo area and see what the heck we could stuff into this Prius Prime. All right, guys, time to get into that rear cargo area. Now, before we do, I just want to kind of preface and just let you know that, remember, this new Prius Prime is about 1 inch wider, it's about 1 inch lower, and it's a couple inches longer. So let's see what that equates to when we get underneath this rear hatch. Real simple, you hit the button, nice electric assist on this XSE Premium, and what you're gonna be greeted to is a decent amount of space. I think people that have had previous gen Prius examples are gonna be a little bit let down, but still very usable. With the rear seats up, you're looking at 20.3 cubic feet of space. You fold the seats down, you're looking at almost 27 cubic feet of space. Now, on the driver's side, you'll see that you actually have, nicely located, a home power source. Easy to get to. You got a little bit of a nook there for your Tom Brady signed football. And then you do also have the ability, like I said, to fold those seats down. It's a little weird because you kind of have to climb in and over, but it gets the job done. 60-40 split to maximize the space. Our battery pack, remember, is well underneath the bottom of this beast. And then, of course, if you want to know, well, what's underneath the cargo liner, you pick it up, that's where your charging accessories are. Would have been nice if they had a nice finished area to store things, but you have the foam, and this is your charging appliance to plug it in so that you could charge. But why don't we go ahead, it's not just about the outside, it's not just about the tech on the interior. This Prius Prime has extra horsepower. Why don't we go on throttle and see if we can feel it? All right, guys, first time in this 2023 Prius Prime. I do have it in sport mode, and right away, it's super comfy in here. It's very well laid out, and it's just nuts too how angled the windshield is. I mean, you get it on the outside. You can see it's angled because of the slippery shape, but it's really crazy when you're sitting behind the wheel just how angled the windshield is. Having those corner windows in the front doors makes all the difference for great visibility in here. Getting to everything is well laid out. I mean, that goes without saying, just like the Prius standard hybrid that we brought to you. This having the extra power, where we're going to experience that is obviously when we go on throttle. Now, another thing that's very surprising, you would think with the rear glass, it would be real tight looking out the back. It isn't. It feels really, really good, both looking out the front windshield and out the rear hatch glass. But driving down the road, I'm very impressed with how quiet it is in the cabin when it comes to wind noise. There's some road noise, but wind noise is very minimal. On the dash, not my favorite, and right now I have to adjust the steering wheel because I keep forgetting you have to treat it like a head-up display. If you do that, you'll love it. If you treat the digital dash like a regular dash in any other car and adjust your steering wheel, it's gonna block it. But if you set it up like a head-up display, it makes sense. But you know what? We're rolling here. I'm gonna go on throttle from a roll. On throttle, here we go. So that eCVT is doing the business. And to be honest with you, it's not like your regular kind of setup that you're used to in so many other hybrids and plug-in hybrids in this vehicle. Because remember, we're not dealing with a ton of torque, but yet we have the greater amount of horsepower for this 2023 version. But steering feel is pretty good. I mean, this isn't a corner carver by any means, but definitely I like the weight of the steering in sport mode, and overall just how it feels feedback wise from what's going on underneath me, especially with the front wheels and tires, of course. You got that regen braking that's helping to recharge that lithium-ion battery. And of course, we also have the solar panels up on the roof that are helping to charge as well. But the way they've done the suspension in this vehicle is actually really, really well done. It's super smooth, but also responsive. And remember, a lot of that has to do with the battery pack. Having that lithium ion battery pack allows the center of gravity to be lower in this vehicle, which is going to help with handling. All right, guys, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of on throttle from a dead stop. Nobody's behind us, so let's see how this works in sport mode. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. So like I said, compared to the previous setup in the Prius Prime, it is faster 0 to 60. Obviously not going to blow your mind, but in this type of vehicle, that's what you're looking at. And if you're comparing it to a setup in the Accord hybrid, you're getting very, very similar time 0 to 60. So that's the interesting setup with this comparison, is not only is the horsepower similar, but also acceleration. Of course, when you go on throttle, you are going to hear that inline 4. And if you stay on throttle through all the way 0 to 60, you're going to get that loud RPM drone because there are no simulated gears or anything like that. But not many people are going to drive a Prius Prime full on throttle like that. But it is nice to have a little bit more power to get out of your own way, and also other people's ways, when you're driving to and from work or picking the kids up at school. But definitely love the way I think that Toyota has done a great job with the new gen hybrid system to have it to where you're not getting, unless you're going on throttle, you're not getting this on-off effect by the internal combustion engine, which is really, really nice. A lot of times in hybrids, you could tell when the engine is turning on and shutting off. With this, it's a very seamless transition, which is great. And like I said, having the aided ability of some regen braking also is good for that lithium ion battery. But everywhere you touch in here, it definitely feels very, very nice, more modern than the Prius of the previous gen. It's just, it does have some quirky features that I think that the Prius is just, you know, whenever you think Prius, you're going to have some of that quirkiness to it, but definitely pulling away from the light. Like I said, very, very smooth. Here we are passing a leaf, blowing its doors off. But I think the best part is I like the way it rides. It's very, very smooth. And I think that that is a very nice touch because it's all about hypermiling. And with this vehicle, you'll be able to go that distance and still feel comfortable. Seats are very supportive without feeling like a beanbag chair. And like I said, having the JBL sound system and all the other inner bits, it all comes together. But very, very impressed. I think the biggest thing I could say about this vehicle is just how impressed I am about the overall style. I mean, people look and they're like, what is that? Hey, it's the new. I'm hoping that you got a good overall feel about what the Prius Prime is all about. It's nice that they have the SE. We're going to be bringing that one to you in a couple months, so stay tuned for that. That one to get the 600-mile range, but 550-mile range out of this vehicle is definitely going to outdo the Honda Accord. But I'm hoping that this review has been good overall. We're going to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day out here hypermiling on the highways and byways of San Diego. Of course, we got to thank the whole Toyota USA team for getting us access to this media event, and especially this Prius Prime XSE Premium. Let me know in the comment section, which way are you going to go? Are you going to go Prius Prime? Or are you going to go Honda Accord? A little bit more room, but this has definitely, I think, the sportier style and the better fuel economy. Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography. While he was here in California, he got some surfing done. He got some rays. and he's looking good, and he's feeling good. So show him some love in that comment section. Thank you, Steven, for hanging 10. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.